Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and this is what we're going to make today. This is totally inspired by Natasha, and her channel is Treasure Books. I will link that below. I saw her video. I saw first just the top of her little journal, and it had a butterfly on it, and of course you know that got me, so I had to go watch. But this is totally inspired by her. She created these. I didn't. And like I said, I'm going to link her channel, but it's just closed by seam binding. This is made with, let me grab one, if I can find one right here. This is made with one of these little flat paper bags. And I got these from Amazon, and I'll link them below. So we are going to, now on the front I just made a cluster and put that down. I used one of the butterflies that you guys sent me, and then I made another little small cluster for the back. And I ran my seam binding under there and glued it down. And then you have a little pocket here that is your bag. So we'll make a journal card and put in there. And then right here you have a tag, and then so you just pull the little flower petal up, and that opens up, and then it just folds down to some journaling. And then if you press that back down, these are just some little cutouts that I got from the paper collection. That is this paper collection, and I'll show you on in the video what that collection is. There's a pocket here, and I didn't ink that. I'm going to go back and try to ink that to let you know that there is a pocket there. We'll make a tag for that. And then I just did some stitching around the edges. These are just my pages, different pages from different places. And I explain where I got most of them, how I cut them down, that kind of thing on in the video. Book pages, vellum, dyed pages, just an old book that I have, and then some music paper, doily, more dyed paper. This is just a dyed notebook paper, old book page, and then this is one of the envelopes that you guys sent me, and I have just cut the end out here. So we'll make a little journal tag for that, and then we'll make a journal tag for this side. And then of course the back is basically the same way. I just did some different stitching in different places just so that it would kind of show up. That is, there's a little tuck spot there, and there's some stitching on that one. There's another little pocket here, stitching, and I think that's all of my pockets. So, but that's all I did, and then I just stitched it in with the pamphlet stitch. And then I put this on the back side just to give it a little bit of decoration there, since this is a paper bag. And then of course you have a pocket back here that we'll make a journal tag for. Now I do all of this in this video, and it's kind of long, but tomorrow we will come back in the next video and we'll do some other decorating on the inside, like some stamping and making our journal tags and that kind of thing. I didn't want to do it all in this one because it was already kind of long. So you'll see this completed to this point, and then in the next video you'll see where we come back and we do all of the decorating on the inside and the pages and making journal tags and that kind of thing. Alright, I hope you enjoy. So I ordered quite a few of these little paper bags from Amazon. They're a little bit crinkly at the bottom where they glued them. I don't know. These are cheap. You know, I got them cheap. So what can you expect? They are almost 10 inches with the little lip there. And then they are 6 1/4. So what I've done is I've taken my paper bag and I've just trimmed. Let's see if I can show you that. I've just trimmed most of that little lip that it has on there off. See, it has quite a long lip here. So I've just trimmed most of that off. I left just a tiny bit on the end there, right there. Then I'm going to open this end up. And I'm just going to use my knife to do that because I don't think my paper trimmer would like it too well. And I'm just going to cut just a tiny bit off just to open it up. Well, I don't seem to be able to cut that through. I think they put way too much glue there on the end of it. It's probably why it's puckered a little bit. Okay, I think that might even help. All right, we've got both ends opened up. This one is open, and then this one is open. So that's going to make 2 pockets, and we fold it in the center. So I've just folded it down the center like that. Then I want to cover this with some paper. Now, she used scrapbook paper, and I think that's a very good idea because with the scrapbook paper, it makes it a little bit stronger because these bags are very, very thin. Now, I have just laid my scrapbook paper on here. This was a 12 by 12 sheet. I laid it on here and then just marked and trimmed it off. So this ended up being 9 1/8 by 6 1/8. So, and it's going to depend what size bags you have. I'll link these below that I got off of Amazon. They're very inexpensive, and I think I got like 50 of them for just, you know, $6 or $7, something like that. I don't know, but I think they're a good size. Now it looks like I am going to have to trim my paper off just a little bit on this end. Let me see. I don't want it to go past that first little lip. Yeah, I'm going to trim it off just a tiny bit, probably 1/8, because I don't want it to go past that little lip on there or past the end. All right, let's see if that works. Just want a little bit of that bag showing around, not too much. Yep, that works right there. So I just trimmed about 1/8 of an inch off. Now, before I glue this down on here, I'm going to do like Natasha did. I thought it was a very good idea what she was showing. I have struggled with trying to remember to do this many, many times, but she went ahead and stitched around this before she glued it down, and I thought that was ingenious because, you know, a lot of times I glue it down and I go, oh man, I should have stitched on that. So I'm going to stitch around here, and then I'll glue it down. Now, she rounded the corners on the front of hers. I think I'm going to leave mine as is. I kind of like that look. I don't think it'll be a problem at all, so I think I'm going to leave mine as is. But you could round the corners here if you wanted to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around here. If you don't have a sewing machine and you don't do stitching, don't worry about it. You could even do faux stitching with a pen. You could just take a black pen and do some faux stitching around, or a white pen, silver, gold, whatever. But don't worry about it if you don't want to stitch. That's just what I like. I like the looks of it, but that's up to you. Alright, there is my stitching, and I just did some uneven zigzag stitches on there. And then I am going to ink, because you guys know I like to ink. Okay, then we're going to glue that down right there. And I'm going to use my art glitter glue mainly. I think that's going to hold it fine. Now, this paper bag is probably going to try to wrinkle because it's going to get a little bit wet with the glue. The art glitter glue does have water in it. I'm just going to put a little bit of my glue stick down first, just to kind of hold it in place, and then I will put all of my art glitter glue all the way around the paper part. And I'm just making sure that I get real close to the edge with my art glitter glue. And this paper I think is thick enough that I don't have to worry about any of my glue lines showing through. But I just want to make sure that I've got a good application of glue on here. And then we will place it down. Now, of course, you know that all bags are not exactly even, like this one is not. So I'm going to try to work this around where I get it as close, my paper as close to even as I can. But these bags were probably cut in a manufacturer somewhere where they cut really, really fast and cut 1,000,000 at one time. And so they are not exactly even. So even though I cut my paper even to the edges, it doesn't look that way. So we're just kind of getting it as straight as we can. Not going to worry about anything else. And let me grab a towel. I forgot to bring my towel. Just go around the edges with the towel and make sure that there's no excess glue anywhere. And if you have any little edges that are not glued down well, you can add a little extra glue in there. I think that's glued pretty good right there. Okay, now to keep this from wrinkling so bad, I'm going to put it under a book, a heavy book, just like Natasha did. That's going to help flatten it out and make it nice and flat, so when I start putting everything together, it will be nice and flat for our pages. So while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and make a cluster to go on the front. I am out of clusters. I saw that I need to make more very, very soon because I'm completely out. I'm just using a piece of scrap paper. It's just brown, so that it will go with any color. And I'm just going to ink the edges. See that white core? I like to get rid of that. So I'll ink all these up. Okay. Then I have just an old vintage music page here. I'm going to ink the edges of that. Right, let's see how we put this down. I think I'm going to kind of put it at a different angle like that. Then I have just a piece of my dyed doily. I'll lay that in there. Then this is just another scrap piece of paper. I'll tear that a little bit. And it just has some brown and some blue in it. I just picked up some things that was laying on my desk. Okay. Then this is just a tea-dyed piece of paper, and then I've stamped on it a little bit. So we're going to use a piece of that. And I'm not even going to worry about the two of the edges that are not torn. I'm just going to tear a couple of ends, and then we'll put that in there. I have a tag that I think it was in one of the packages that I got. And I think I want to slide it in the back there and just glue this down on the sides. I'm trying to decide if I want to do that or if I want to just use a piece of it in here. I'm going to hold on to the tag and we're going to use it on the inside. So let's see, what else do I have? I have some twine and different things, but I don't know that I'm going to put any of that on there. We'll lay that aside. I do have some of those butterflies that you guys gave me. Thinking about using one of those. And then I have just some old vintage tickets here that have been in my stash for a long, long time. I'm going to tear one of those off. And I'm just going to ink it up. Even though it's vintage and it's old and brown looking, I'm just going to rough it up a little bit. I'm even going to tear the edge a little and just kind of wrinkle it. Just want it to look like it has been around and been used a lot. So there you go. And we'll put that down probably about right there. Now I'm just going to glue these down, and then I'll decide what my focal point on the top will be. I got these little glue bottles a while ago when I was doing some classes, and I need to use, this is art glitter glue that's in here. I need to use the art glitter glue up, so I'm going to use some of those while I'm making this, if you guys don't mind. It'll just help me use it up, and you know, it won't dry up in here, because I've had these probably a couple of years now. So I just want to make sure that I get them used up. They don't sell these bottles. These are just some that we were able to get for our classes, on the Made It Con classes. Some of you guys know you were there. But I thought if I could use the glue up that's inside these, then I could just refill them. And if I have, you know, some other classes or people over, whatever, we can use these. I can give each person one of those to craft with. So there, that is our little cluster. I did put some glue right there, so we're just going to grab a piece of this music page. I'm going to crinkle it up a little bit, and we'll just glue that down right there since I already had some glue there. Okay, so that's going to be my cluster other than my focal point. And like I said, I'll decide which butterfly I want. Let's see. It's going to have to be kind of a brown. I think these are a little bit too bright for what I'm going to use this for. So I will just go in here and see what we've got here. One of these may work. And on Natasha's, and hey Natasha, I know she watches some of my videos. I feel very honored that she does. I saw that she had, what really attracted me to that video that you did of these is the butterfly that you had on the front, because I am a butterfly addict. So that's what attracted me to that video, is that beautiful butterfly that you put on there. Oh, I like that. So we are going to put a butterfly on ours. And Natasha, if you'll go over and watch her video, she has all of the instructions written out beside where she's creating. So you can just take screenshots of those, and you'll have everything that you need right there, because she's really good about doing that. Alright, I think I'm going to put that right in the center, and that's going to be my focal point. But I'm going to ink around to get rid of these little white edges. There we go. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit of stitching around this. I think it's dry enough that I can do just a tiny bit of stitching around it. So that is just my little bit of zigzag stitching around there. I know I'm using white thread, so it's kind of hard for you to see. And that's not something that you have to do. Keep that in mind. You can just leave it as is. You do not have to do the stitching. Just glue it down. And I'm only going to glue the center of my butterfly. And thank you so much for the person that gave me these. I can't remember. I got so many different butterfly packs. I can't remember which one come from whom, but you guys will know. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So there is our little butterfly image. I feel like he's not straight. There we go. Alright, so he's going to go on the front. And then I am going to put some bling right down the center of that. And I'm trying to decide. Let's see. Do we want to just put some black bling? Do we want some white bling? I don't know that we want. Yeah, let's see. We may put just some white little pearls down the center there, because it'll kind of bring that white in there, since we've got a little white in his wings. So we'll put just about 3 down through the center. Okay, so we've got our little pieces of bling there. So that will go on the front when it gets dry, and then she put a little piece on the back of hers, so I think we're going to do the same thing. I liked that idea. So let me find something. And I may just use another piece of this scrapbook paper. This comes from that same collection. I think it's very, very pretty. So I just want to make sure that I don't get it too big. I'm just going to take one of my paper bags here, and then I'm just going to kind of measure it a little bit. It's just to make sure that I don't get the back part too big. Okay, so we're going to tear it about right here. Now, I think I have said this before on here, but I'm going to say it again. If you want the white core to show on the front of your paper like that, tear it toward you. If you don't want it to show, then tear it away from you. So I'm going to let mine show just a little bit, but I'm going to tear real carefully so that it's just a little bit showing and not a lot. But some people don't like that showing. So if you don't want it to show, then just tear away from you. I like it to show, and then I like to ink it up, so that's why I do it this way. Now, if I would just pull on this real hard, I'll have a big piece of white showing, and I don't want that, so I'm just tearing it real slow. So there we go. That should, let me go ahead, I'm going to fold it just to make sure that I'm not getting that too big. Yeah, I think that's going to fit on the back just right. And I'm going to ink around this. Now I'm going to take just a little piece of this paper, and this, let's see, I think this is the paper that I purchased from Tina, I do believe. I'll link it below. I think this is the paper that I purchased from her. And I'm just going to take a little piece of that. I'm just going to tear it, make it a little bit smaller than that one. Make sure that I've got that one the right way up. I think I want it to go that way. And then we'll lay that one down there. And then I'm just going to take one of my digitals. This is just printed out on copy paper. It's not thick. So that's why I can use it on top of this. And I may just fussy tear that too. That way all of it will be torn and inked. And this is from our digital Paris Lights. I will link that below. Some people had, I think a couple people messaged me and said they couldn't find my digitals. I have linked the digital page, especially below, but you can always go to our store, which is www.scrapbookingwithme.com. That is always linked below the video. And on the very first page, when you get there, you'll see a link that says New Digitals. And if you click on that, then you'll see all of our digitals. So I think I want to put that right in there. And then that's all that I'm going to do to the back piece. So I'm going to glue that down. Not going to add a lot to the back because this is just going to be on the back of the album. Okay, there we go. Then I'm just going to stitch around this, and then our little cover should be dry and we can start putting this together. Right, there is our stitching around the edge of that. Now let's pull our little cover back out. I just stuck it in this book, made it nice and flat. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it again. Just fold it as even as I can. Isn't that cute? I like that. What a great idea, Natasha. What a great idea. Alright, so this one is going to go on the back like that. Cute. And then this one we'll put on the front. Just like that. And I like that too. And I like these little pieces sticking up and kind of rolled up there. It just, to me, I don't know, it just makes it look a little bit more vintage. And I even sometimes will ink those up and just roll them a little bit more. I like that look. Now we're going to decide what color seam binding we want to close this with. And I'm thinking that I might just use this brown. This is a dark brown. I have some white and some blue, light blue, and different colors, but I think this brown is going to be good enough. And this is not wrinkled, so you can always wrinkle yours if you want to. I may wrinkle it before I finish. So I think you just want enough to go around and then tie in a little bow. So I'm going to try not to waste it. I'm going to try to get just enough. This stuff is precious. It's not cheap. There we go. Or not around here anyway. It's not cheap. No, I just threw my scissors. There we go. I think that will be plenty. Now, in order to wrinkle this, I don't know. A lot of you people may already know this, but all you need to do is wet it, and then, you know, let it dry, you know, wrinkled up like this, and then open it back up. But a lot of times you can just do that and wrinkle it. You don't even have to wet it. If I'm in a hurry to use it and I don't want to wait for it to dry, I just do that and wrinkle it up. And there we go. It's all wrinkled. So that is something that you can do in a hurry. Now, I am going to ink around this. Alright, we're ready to put down our front and back little clusters. And I want to put my seam binding down and put the clusters over the top. So I want to find the center of this. Let's see. 3 1/8. So about right there it's going to be our center. So I'm just going to make a little mark on that side and a little mark on that side, and then we're going to flip it over and do the same thing. Okay, a mark right there and a mark right there. And it doesn't have to be perfect, so don't worry about getting things perfect. You know, I've always said it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want perfect, I don't know where you'll go, but you won't come here. So if we glue that down right there, then we should have it in the center, and then we'll be able to put our little covers down and it'll cover up any glue that might seep through. But you can always use, keep in mind, you can use score tape and it doesn't show through on this. So if you want to put this down without using glue, you can use score tape. And if you don't know what score tape is, you can look in our store. We sell it. That is about the only thing that I use when I make mini albums. It's score tape because it is very, very strong. It's a double-sided adhesive. Okay. Now that art glitter glue will hold that long enough for it to dry a little bit, and then we can put our little clusters down on top of it. So, and then we'll make sure that we can still fold it up, and we can. Okay, so let's put this cluster on the front, just like that, and I'm just going to run quite a bit of glue around here. Making sure I get it in the middle really well. And then we'll just kind of center this up and press it down. There we go. Now this glue dries very quick, so I'm not worried about having to lay it under something. If you're using a glue that takes a little while to dry, then make sure that you lay it under a book or something until it dries well. This art glitter glue dries just in no time and it holds really well, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, that is the front on there. I like that. And see this little piece right here? I'm just going to roll that. Just like that. Makes it look kind of like a little scroll. And then I just take my ink and ink on top of that. Same with this little piece. Let's show you. See? I like that look. Okay, we're going to flip that over and we're going to glue this one down to the back. Just like that. And then you can take your bone folder or something and run over this. You could always use a little roller if you have a roller and you'd rather use that. I'm going to go ahead and put more right here under this edge. This comes out really, really fast. So we definitely will need our towel for that. I have so many people that ask me why I use a paper towel in my crafting. I just like to wipe up that extra glue. Anything that seeps out, I like to wipe that up because I don't like that look of that glue being on the outside. Some people use just a paper towel. Some people use a cloth towel. I just use the paper towels that I dry my hands on. I save them and I just keep them up here and then I grab them and use them. That way I'm not throwing them in the trash until they get just really grungy. Now I want to put a word on the front, so I'm going to use another one of our digitals. And I'm going to put this word right here. Alrighty. Okay, we've got our tie. I put my little word on there. Now it's time to decide what we want to put in for the signature. Now, Natasha didn't cover the inside of her bag. And I'm trying to decide if I want to cover mine at all. She did put a little fold out here and then put a little tag in there, and I thought that was really cute. I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. I think I might put this down on the back, just tear it and ink it and put that down on the back part. That way it'll be flat. There won't be anything back there in case you want to write in your journal. So I'm just going to tear this out. This happens to be sitting here on my desk. This is a Tina Digital, if I'm not mistaken. I will link it below. And I have used other parts of this on another project that we did. So we're just going to tear this. And you know why I like this digital so much. Look, it's got numbers all through it. All right, let me make sure that's the right size before I start inking. Yes, I think that will work right there. So we're just going to ink that up. I'm just going to ink to cover the white core of the paper. There we go. And then I think I'm going to glue that down right there, just like that. Save that piece for another cluster. These little glue bottles are helping my thumb, I'm telling you. Those big ones really hurt the thumb when you've got arthritis, don't they? I had someone say that I could put my my Fabri-Tac in one of those little Sugar Bell bottles. And so I have some of those. So I will be putting my Fabri-Tac in here. This is just what they put icing and things in. They're real easy to squeeze. So I think I'm going to put my Fabri-Tac in there. The only problem is I have ordered the caps for those, and so far the caps haven't come in. So I'm waiting on those to get here before I transfer it over, because I definitely want a cap to seal it off. Alright, I'm going to go right under here and put a little bit of glue, because this is kind of coming up. Right there. And let's see if this one is. Yes, this one is too. So we'll put just a tiny bit of glue right there to seal that down. Okay, so I like that. I like the looks of that. Okay, I've got to coffee dye more paper. I'm about out. But I think I'm just going to make one of those little envelopes, fold outs like she did. But check hers out. Please go and check her channel out. She is phenomenal at doing journals and treasure books and things like that. She's the queen of it as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I'm just going to tear this. And I just line it up with my grid just so that I can make sure that I get it straight as possible. There we go. And then, well, that doesn't look too straight, does it? Okay, we're going to cut it because it didn't tear too straight. Trim this off. Okay. Now, let's see. She folded it up once, I think, and then maybe up again. I'm thinking, I'm not sure this is the way she did it. It's been a week or so since I've watched that video, so why don't we do it this way? And then when we get both sides even, we'll just fold that up. And then I'm just going to cut off. Nope, not going to cut that way. I'm just going to cut it off about like that. So let's see if that works. Okay, that's closer. Looks like we need to cut just a little bit more. So let's fold it again. All I'm doing is folding it in the center. And one of you gave me this idea to fold it in the center, and then you would be able to get both sides straight. And I'm going to kind of make that one a little bit not so pointy there. There we go. So there is our little envelope. Yes, I like that better. There is our little fold out envelope. Now I'm just going to use my bone folder, reinforce this. I'm not sure how many folds she had in hers, but I just used the whole sheet, and it was an 8.5 by 11. I used the whole length of it. So that's my fold. It's got 3 little folds in there. And then I'm just going to ink the edges up. This is one of our dyed papers. I think this is from the watercolor. Okay. I'm going to open these out and just do each of these little folds. And then I am also going to flip it and do the folds on the inside. I think that makes it look better. So we'll do that one. And this one. Okay. So there we have that little fold out. Oh, gotta do this little edge. Alright, and then we're just gonna fold that back up. Pull that down, and what do we want to put right here to keep that closed? We'll have to decide on that. So this is, let me see how wide this one is. This is 4 1/4 wide, and we're going to put that right there. And I think I'm just going to glue this flower. This is just one I got out of a little pack right there. I think I'm going to glue that flower right there, and then this back, this little flap can tuck up under there, and that can be the closure. So I'm just going to glue it right below the flap, just in the center. And then that, the leaves or the petals can be the little closure. And then we will put a piece of bling right in the center of that. There we go. Just going to hold that down for a second. Alright, now your little flap will tuck up under there, up under the petals, and it'll keep that closed, just like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and put a little glue on each side on the back. Now I'm going to use my little precision tip here because it's a little bit smaller tip, and it puts a little tiny bead of glue right there and right there. And then we'll glue this down, and I'm going to glue it not right at the bottom, but pretty close, because I feel like I want a pretty large tag on that. Okay, so now let's come up with a tag. Okay, this is from the paper collection, and it fits just right. I trimmed it out, so I'm going to ink around it. And then I'm going to cover the back so that we can do journaling on there. So let's grab a piece. I'm just going to use a piece of our dyed paper. Just going to use my little glue-in mat here. Somebody asked me what this was, and I hope I answered them, but this is just one of those glass cutting mats. They call it glass. I think it's actually plexiglass, but I use it for my gluing, because once this gets grungy with glue, you can just take it in there and wash it with soap and water and clean it right up, so you don't waste any, book pages or anything like that to glue on. And the good part about it is, once the glue kind of dries on this, I mean, you can see I've got layers of dried glue. It's not sticky anymore. This is a Fiskars. I didn't find a Fiskars. I've had this one for many years. But I do have a few of these linked in my store, on my Amazon store, and that link is below. So if you would like to get one of these, this one is a 13 by 13. I'm sure they have them in all sizes, but you can go over and check those out if you want one. I just love them. I use them for everything, and you can cut on top of these, so you can use them to cut with too. But I like to ink on them and glue on them. Then I can just take them to my sink and wash them and use them over and over again. Okay, there is my paper on the back. And again, I'm going to go ahead and ink that up a little bit more. Okay. And then I am going to decide, I think I want a piece of lace or something at the top of this. So let me grab a piece of our lace. You guys have sent me so much lace, it's hard for me to choose which one I want to use. But let me grab a couple of pieces and we'll try them out. Oh no, this is pretty too. This is a piece that was sent to me. This is kind of like a burlap, but it's wired. And that would be pretty cut in a little tag shape at the top. Or we've got some different laces. That's a pretty piece. Oh, I like that. I think I like that best of all. I don't think I need to look any further. Alright, we're just going to cut a piece of that. And I'm not going to go all the way across with it. But I think, let's see, which way do I want to go? What do you think? That way? Or we could fold it this way. Nope, I don't like it that way. I like it glued. I'm going to glue it down this way. And that's going to be our little pull for our tag. I like that. So I'm going to grab some Fabri-Tac. And I'm just going to put a few drops down here just to hold it in place just for a minute. Uh-oh, I got some glue there. Because I'm going to stitch this. Okay, so we're just going to hold that in place just for a minute, and then I'm going to stitch around this, and then that will be our little tag for in here. Okay, there is our tag, and then I think I'm just going to take one of the Tim Holtz stamps that I got. Let's see which one. This one is called, and I got a little paper clip stuck to that. Okay, this is called Field Notes, and I think I just want to put something right here at the bottom. What would we put? Alright, I think I see what I want to put there. I'm just going to put this little stamp that says book number 710, and we're just going to stamp that right there. And I'm just going to use some Memento black ink. And I think, I think I want to stamp this off and then stamp it. I don't want it to be so bright, so bold. There we go. So there is that. So that's the little tag that just slides down in behind that. And I feel like I want something on here. Let's see, what do we have? What do we have? Now on the front of this paper collection, and this is the paper collection, I finally found this cover sheet. It's from Ciobella, and let's see if it's it's called Bocata Essence. That is the name of it right there. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but hopefully, you know, you might can find it. So this is the front cover, and I love all these little tiny tags and things. I use those and cut them out. So I have just cut out this little circle. It's just got a little flower in it. And I'm going to put it up here somewhere, I think. I'm not sure. And then I've cut out this little tiny tag with a bird, and I'm going to put it on here. I don't know, that just, it makes me feel a little bit better. It doesn't need anything. You don't have to do that. That's just for I just feel like places like that need to be covered for some reason. Sometimes I overdo it. And it would have been really, really cute if I had had a little blue flower to put here, but I didn't. So that's okay. We've got brown and brown going on, so we're good. I'm going to put that right there, and I'm going to put this little tag right down here. There we go. And we'll put this little circle up here. And put it like that. And that just gives a little bit more interest to that. Alright, and I think that's all I'm going to do right here. I think that's enough. Now, you've got a pocket here and a pocket here, so you can slide some things down in there. So we'll probably make some tags to go in there. Now what we need to do is decide what we want to make and use for our signature. Now, I have pulled out some different things here to go on the inside for our signature. This is an envelope that one of you guys sent me. I'm going to use that. This is one of our tea-dyed doilies. This is just a piece of notebook paper that I have dyed a little bit with watercolor. This is one of our watercolor dyed regular copy paper. This is a scrap piece of scrapbook paper. And this is a scrap piece of craft scrapbook paper. And this is just an old book page that I took and put some watercolor on. And then here's another notebook, regular lined notebook page that I've colored. There's a piece of vellum. This is one that I dyed with some watercolor that had like a fluorescent in it. Old book page, notebook page, notebook page, music page, an old sprayed piece of paper that I had in my stash, and then another piece of scrapbook paper that's just thin and single-sided. So I'm just going to take the total height of our book. I'm not going to worry about the width right now. I'm just going to take the height, and I'm going to measure that, and it's 6 1/4. So we know we don't want any of our pages to be taller than 6 1/4. So this one, we know that we're just going to fold in the middle and use somewhere. So we'll just go ahead and fold that one up. Lay it aside. This one I'm going to, let's see, I'm probably going to fold it about like that. And then I want this to be a pocket too, so I'm just going to trim the end out of that. Just a little tiny piece. Okay, so that one's opened up on that end, and so we'll sew it in the signature right here. We'll have a pocket on this side and a pocket on that side. Then this one, let's see, I think I'm just going to tear it off at 6 1/4, but I want to use this side, I think. I'm probably not going to go right to 6 1/4. I think I'll just go to 6 1/8. Six and an eighth. like that, and then we'll just tear this. And we can use that piece in our clusters, so we'll lay that aside. Now I'm actually going to fold the book page, I'm actually going to fold the music page this way. And then just make sure that I get it the height that we need. Okay. And that could actually make 2 different pages, so we might use both of those. This one, we may create a pocket with that one, so we're just going to leave that one. I want this left in there, so on this one, I'm just going to cut it down to 6 1/8, somewhere there near. And then we'll fold it that way. All right, I'm going to lay these over here. I'll just use my trimmer on the rest of them, hopefully. This one, same thing. I want it about 6 1/8. So keep all of those little small pieces. You can use those for clusters. This book page, we're just going to take the part that was in the spine off. There we go. And this, let's see, 6 1/8. I may make a double pocket out of this. I'll fold it up this way and then fold it this way, so I might not cut that one off right now. Save that one. This, I want to cut it down. This one is already narrow enough, so we're not going to worry about that one. This one, let's see. We want to cut this down to 6 1/8. There we go. This is already narrow enough, so we're not going to fool with that one, I don't think. Let's see. No, it's good. I think I might cut that little frazzled piece off right there. And then that one is good. That one is good, I think. Okay, let's cut it down a little bit. All of them don't have to be the same height. You can cut some of them shorter, some of them longer. So let's cut this one down. And you can always use that piece in there as well. Let's see on this one. I think I will just cut this one a little bit smaller and we'll use both pieces. So we'll use both of those. And then on this one, I just want to cut a small piece to use. And yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. Okay, now we've got them all close to the same height. So they're not any of them taller than our book is. So now all we need to do is decide on the length or width of these to know if we're going to cut them down, if we're going to make pockets out of them, or what we're going to do. This one I know I want to make a pocket, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold it up. Now, Natasha makes a template for this. You can make you a template if you don't want to just kind of guesstimate it like I'm doing. That's fine. You can make a template. All right, that. And this is not how I'm going to put them in my journal, but I'm just kind of laying them out here. Okay. And then we'll leave those aside for right now. Now we just need to make sure that when these are folded this way, that they're not going to stick out on the outside of our journal. So that one we know is not. We've got it in there. So we know anything that is smaller than this is going to be good. Anything that's a little bit larger than this, we're going to need to trim or make a pocket out of, or tuck, or something like that. So those 2 pages are good. This one is going to be too big. We know that. So let's see how we want to trim this down. I'm just going to lay this in here. Okay. That's going to be about our width right there, I think. That's my measuring. You could measure, you could make a template. I just kind of do it as I go along, okay? And I like my edges tore, that doesn't bother me. So, alright, we're going to set this in here and see if that's going to work. And yes, it does. It's the right size. Anything that's going to be larger than this is going to be too big. So this is going to be too long. We can either cut this off or we can make a little tuck spot out of it. And I think a little tuck spot will look cute with this. So I'm just going to fold that over. And that's going to be a little tuck. So I'm going to kind of use this one as my guide. This, let's see, this is a little bit long. So we know we need to trim just a little bit of that off. So I'm just going to tear a little of that book page off of there. Okay. And I'll go back and kind of even that up. There we go. Now we'll look at this one. That one's going to be a little large. So again, we're going to trim that off. Okay, we have that one trimmed off, and then I need to trim these off a little. And I'm just doing it, you know, just holding it up and doing it by eye. I'm not going to be real precise with this. Again, you could make pockets or tucks. You wouldn't have to trim any of this off if you didn't want to. Okay. There's another. This one we've already got a pocket at the bottom. So we don't want another pocket on the side. So we're just going to trim this off right here. And then for our vellum piece, let's see. Do we want to make a pocket, a side tuck? I think I will make, what shall we make? I think we will make a little side pocket with that. I think little vellum pockets are really pretty. So we will make one right here on the end. So make sure we, looks like we still need to trim it just a little bit. So I'm just going to trim this end down here. There we go. So that's our vellum. Put this one to the side, use it for clusters. This one I think I may trim off. We've got quite a few pockets going on, so we'll trim this one. And our book page should be close, and it is. So all we're going to do is trim off just this little bit. Just going to make sure I got that even. A bit right here. And then for this, I'm thinking a double pocket maybe. Let's see, or a double tuck. I think that'll be good. We'll put one on this end. And this is in that craft paper. It's pretty thick. So we'll put one on that end and then another one on this end. That'll give us 2 tuck spots there. Okay, so there is that one. This, I think we'll just trim off. And we can use that for something else. This one is the right size, so we're not going to worry about that one. That one's the right size. And then we just need to do this one. And I'm thinking I may make a pocket like this. This is one that Natasha made. This is not my original idea. She did one fold and then did another one back, and I thought that was really cute how that looked. So there we go. We've got that. And I have no clue how many pages we have here. We're just going to start kind of putting these together like we want them to go in our album. I think I might want that one in the center. So I'm just going to fold that. I'll go ahead and fold them all. Then we can decide how we want them to lay in there. Okay, we have all of our pieces folded. Now, Natasha did some really beautiful stitching on hers. I'm not sure I can do that kind of stitching, but on a couple of pieces I do want to stitch because I want to stitch my pockets down. You can glue your pockets down. You do not have to stitch. So I'm just going to kind of pick up the ones that I want to do some stitching on, and I'll do that real quick, and then I'll come back and we'll start sewing our signature in. Let's see. I'm going to stitch that one and that one. That one doesn't have a pocket. Okay. And that one doesn't have a pocket. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to stitch a little bit on these, and then we'll come back and we'll put our signature together and inside our book. Alright, we have all of our pieces sewn, all of our pockets. Now I'm just going to decide how I want to put these together. I think for the very first page, I'm trying to decide if I want it this way. I think I want this one, and I'm going to turn it this way so my pockets will be here and on the back. So we've got that one, and then we can just kind of start alternating from here. And maybe a scrapbook page in there. And then a book page. And then we'll put this vellum, and I did a little bit of that leaf stitch around that vellum, and I've got a pocket in that one, right, a side tuck. And then what? Let's put this in here. And then a music page. Let's see. Oh, I can't open that one up for some reason. There we go. And then another dyed page. And then I want a little short page, maybe. Now, I may change these up once I get everything in here. It's just going to depend. Put that one there. It's got a little tuck pocket over here. And that one in there, maybe. Nope, another pocket. Okay, let's see. We may have to change these. Book page. Smaller page. Scrapbook page. This may be way too many. You know, I can't stop when I get started on putting pages in. I may have to save. Let's save that one for later and that one for later. Let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I think that's what the amount that Natasha had. I'm not sure. But I do want to put my little envelope in here. So, and I think I wanted it somewhere close to the center like that. And then I want my doily end. So we'll go back here and put the doily in. Let's see. See what that looks like. And some of the pages, depending on if I've made them a little bit larger, I may have to trim off a little bit. That one is going to be a little bit too big, I think, so I'm going to leave that one out and put it maybe in the next one. And then I don't want these two small ones right here, or three small ones right here together, so I'm just going to alternate, put one there and one back here, and then I'll put this here. So we'll save that one for our next one. Now don't worry about this little flap. That little flap will be inside like that. So let's see if there's anything else. Let's see what that's going to look like in our little journal. Okay, I've got a few pieces right here, and I think it's just that doily and maybe one other sheet that's a little bit tall, so I'm just going to trim those off. But the width this way is almost perfect. I've got one or two that I'm going to trim off, and that's going to be it. So I'm just going to stack those real good. I'm going to trim the bottom part of my little doily right there. And then this top part needs to go. There we go. So anything that you see kind of sticking up, and you see these center ones are kind of sticking out, so I'm just going to make sure that I can trim those off. I don't want to trim one that has a pocket on there on the end, because then I would open my pocket up. Looks like all of those are good to be trimmed. So I'm just going to pull those out right there. And I'm going to trim these off just a little bit. Okay, now we can put these back in. Hopefully somewhat near how we had them. They don't have to be exact. I'm just going to put them in here, and then we'll look through it and see what we think. Okay. Then I have this one inside there somewhere. We will put him, let's just tuck him right in there. And then this was here, so let's look at it again. Okay, I'm going to trim these little frazzles off right there at the top. Then we'll try it in our little book again and see what we think. Okay, that looks perfect. That looks perfect right there. So the sides, the front, the bottom, everything looks just right. So we are ready to stitch. But now I want to just go through here and make sure that I've got these like I want them. So that'll be our front page, second page, and there's the third one with a pocket. I want to slide him down at the bottom. There's that one. It's a little bit shorter. That's good. That one. And then we've got this one, and then we've got that decorative paper right there. So what I think I'm going to do is on this one, I'm just going to tear this. Let's tear it with my ruler. That'll be better. That way you can see that little decorative sewing right there. So there we go. And then got that piece of vellum, that one there, and we'll slide this one up at the top Since we slid that other one down toward the bottom, we'll put that one up toward the top. I have to pick them back up. It's easier for me to hold them. And then we've got that one. And then there's our music page. And then we have this one. Then we have our doily. And then that one. And then we have another little sheet here that will slide down toward the bottom, and that one up toward the top. And then there's our little envelope. Okay. I'm just going to make sure that I've got all of them, all of the centers kind of even here. Okay, now I'm just going to clip these together like I usually do. I like to clip them because if I don't, they kind of slide around in my hand, and I don't like that. So I'm going to clip all of these like that. I've got all of my creases even, looks like. And now we need to just poke some holes. Now you can use a template for this. I usually just kind of eyeball it, but you can definitely use a template. I do want to try to get the one in the center, and that way it just kind of holds a little bit better. So let's see, 3¼ right there. So that's going to be our center point right there. And I just kind of leave it folded up and push my pokey tool through there. There we go. And then, let's see, there's my center one. Then I think I'll just come up here to maybe, and then just about the same at the bottom. So just about 1/4. No, it's about 3/4 of an inch from the end. Alright, we have our 3 holes in there. Now I'm just going to thread my needle. And I'm just using some white thread. This is like a crochet thread, I think. But you could use any thread that you want. And I'm going to start in the center. In that center hole right there. And I pull it through, and then I come back up to the one at the top. And I push that one through. Okay, then I go all the way down to the bottom. And this is called a pamphlet stitch. So if you ever hear that someone is using a pamphlet stitch in a signature, that is what this is. And this is a signature, just a bunch of papers put together that you're sewing inside a little album. Alright, now I am just going to pull some of my thread back through because I don't need quite that much. Okay, and then you're going to go back up through the center again, and you're just going to come up on the opposite side of that little thread that went down. Okay, there we go. Just like that. So we'll take our needle off. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Make sure that the thread on the outside is good and tight. So I just pull it one way and then pull it another, and then you're going to tie a double knot. And you could put a little bit of glue on this if you wanted to, and it would hold it a little better. But usually a double knot holds fine. And then I just tie a little knot right there. And there is our signature in there. And then we're just going to tie this. like that. So there is your little mini album journal, I guess you could say. Now, you could do lots more decorating in here. You could go through and, of course, we've got to make a little journal card for in there. You could go through and do some stamping on these. I do want to put, I should have inked that right there so you could tell that was my pocket. I do want to put some things down through here. But my video is super long already. I think I might come back tomorrow and decorate this and just decorate it with you. I will go through and decorate each page and just do something a little different on each page and give you some ideas of how you can decorate your little album up. So I think we'll do that tomorrow. We'll make journaling cards and cards to go in each of the pockets and things like that. But our video is already really long today, so we're just gonna cut it off right here and we'll come back tomorrow. If you want to see how this is decorated up and how we do the different journal cards and pockets and things, then join us tomorrow for that. Alright guys, that is it for this tutorial. I hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Natasha, for all of your inspiration. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, her link to her channel with this little project will be below, so go over and check her out. And we will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Bye-bye.